civilization below ground, and I'll be crowned the community cake get around, and the Andalusian tribes setting the lay of Nebraska lines where we gather to till all that remains is the arms of the angels. Quiet now, will we gather to conjure the rain down? Will we now build a civilization below ground, and I'll be crowned the community cake get around, and the Andalusian tribes setting the lay of Nebraska line till all that remains is the arms of the angels, till all that remains is the arms of the angels.
Hello there and welcome to the Second Life Book Club. My name is Draxtor Dupre, and today a new format, and I hate the word format. I hate the word format more than I hate the word content. A series that I decided to start called What Are You Reading? And today we start off with What Are You Reading? The Infinite Jest edition. You have undoubtedly heard me talk about this amazing book, and today is a no fear casual sort of ask me and ask anyone who is here anything about this book. Like any good drug peddler, and the book is about drugs, I am confident that I can sell you this book, and I can sell it to you in under an hour, although it has almost 1,000 pages and 300 pages of footnotes. Let's see here. Here we're at the Enfield Tennis Academy. We have Water here with us, Dex Euromat, and Shyla the Super Gecko, and the Resistor. And Dex and Shyla, I know, are reading the book, so I am opening the floor to voice, essentially. And I note to self, don't talk too much, Draxtor, because I do actually want to hear the experience of the folks who are reading it, what resonates with you about this book, why have you started it? Tell people that I haven't paid you to read it, and why are you still at it? Behind me is a flow chart of Infinite Jest with the characters. Not all of them. And if this is intimidating to you, again, don't fear. Let me say a couple of things. The music that we heard in the intro was by a band called the Decemberists, and it's called the Calamity Song. And it's an amazing music video that is Infinite Jest centric. It's about the Eschaton game. But now, just briefly, the 411 on this book, I have written on my newsletter about it, and we had the translators on here. So I'll keep it very brief. If somebody asks me, what is this book all about, I now have rehearsed this, and I'm going to say this is about 1,000 pages long, and it's the funniest book about suicide, addiction, abuse that I have ever read. And then people, of course, respond with like, what is your problem? You enjoy reading about abuse and suicide? And I say, well, these are not enjoyable things, but they occur, and especially addiction occurs in modern life, and emptiness and the search for self is something that has been with us forever. And sometimes that search for the self actualization doesn't happen. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm so dry. I'm so dry with this stuff that I've already lost people. So um, I think I'm gonna play. And if you're here in world, you gotta check out the YouTube channel because I'm just gonna play a little excerpt, and then I'm gonna go straight to Shyla and Dex and ask them why they are reading this amazing book and what resonates with them. Because I'm going to play a quick soundbite of an avatar in a now defunct virtual world called Sansar, where I started reading the book with this avatar. Every week, I read about an hour, sometimes a little bit longer. Let's give this a little try. This is actually the almost from the introduction. This is character Hell in Condensa, one of the main characters. Where is he here? With his interior monologue. Here we go.
My application is not bought, I'm telling them, calling into the darkness of the red cave that opens out before closed eyes. I'm not just a boy who plays tennis. I have an intricate history, experiences, feelings. I am complex. I read. I say, I study and read. I bet I've read everything you've read. Don't think I haven't. I consume libraries. I wear out spines and ROM drives. I do things like get in a taxi and say, the library, and step on it. My instincts concerning syntax and mechanics are better than your own, I can tell, with due respect. But it transcends the mechanics. I'm not a machine. I feel and believe. I have opinions. Some of them are interesting.
Yep, that's this Blue Dragon avatar reading from Infinite Jest. Now I lied. I'll bring in Shyla and the people that I know started the book and I know at least enjoy it at least a little bit. I want to say a couple more things because people do want to know what the book is about plot-wise. There's a tennis academy with kids who are basically being treated like racehorses to become pro tennis players. They're all damaged. They come from dysfunctional families. They're totally they're smoking weed. They're taking all sorts of drugs. Uh, Under enormous pressure, they're between 14 and 17-year-old kids in this elite tennis academy. It's all happening in Boston. And then down the road is a halfway house where people on their on their way down are arguably right. So if the tennis academy is on, these kids are on their way up, maybe having big prospects. The folks in the halfway house and ended house are on their way out, and the two main characters, one is in the tennis academy, Hal and Condenza, comes from a dysfunctional family, including the founder. His father's the founder of the tennis academy. And Don Gately, who's a small-time criminal who gets incarcerated and then has to go to the halfway house and becomes the manager or the assistant manager. Those are the two spheres where the plot takes place. And then in the center of the plot is also a hilarious, very suspenseful, and a little bit satiric thing about wheelchair assassins who are basically terrorists from Canada, from Quebec. And they use an avant-garde movie called Infinite Jest to assassinate people. And how do they do that? Well, this piece of entertainment called Infinite Jest, this movie, this short film, we don't know what it is, gets mailed in cartridges. The book takes place slightly in the future, gets mailed to people. They take it out. They go like, "Oh, what is this?" And they can't resist. They pop it into the playback device. They start watching it, and it's so enticing. It's so entertaining. It is so yummy that the people who watch it forget to drink, they forget to eat, and then finally they forget to breathe, and then they die. And that's how the wheelchair assassins in the book assassinate people. And everything ties together. Everything is complex. It takes concentration to read this book, but just like a good meal, it's incredibly rewarding. And there is so much in it. I actually have a bet going with Shyla that if she turns the last page, page 981, she will immediately want to read it again. So in a sense, the author, we haven't spoken about the author yet, David Foster Wallace, has created with this book, I think, and many others, scholars, readers, whatever, um, he has created with this book, in a sense, something like the plot device, the entertainment, the Infinite Jest movie, which is so enticing that you forget everything else. I mean, I certainly forget stuff because I'm completely obsessing over this book, and now I'm here and I'm talking to you about it. Okay. One more thing, because I do want to introduce the author, and I'm going to do that by way of a little recording from a live appearance of David Foster Wallace. Now, David Foster Wallace is no longer with us. And I always say he chose to take his own life in 2008. It is really tragic. It is also, to me, as a reader of this book, in a way, he poured his heart and soul into this book. If there's one thing that is important, the most important thing about this book is that it is full of empathy. It is full of empathy, not only for the characters, but the empathy and kindness comes through. Wallace is on the record where he says, "I wanted to write a sad book." That's sort of, that made the rounds in many, many interviews. But I think he wrote a kind book, a book full of kindness, with people, with super difficult people, dysfunctional people, crazy people, hilarious people. But the love for these people that you will feel. For example, here I'm camming around Madame Psychosis, who is veiled. She has a talk show. Here she is. This is all fan art, by the way. Madame Psychosis is a big character in the book, very important character. And she's veiled because she's disfigured. She was disfigured maybe by an accident. We don't know. Actually, we do. It happens. It's pretty gruesome. Here are the main characters. Hal, 17 years old, son of James O. Incandenza, a genius filmmaker, also founder of the Tennis Academy. His wife Avril, uh, well, and the brother Mario, who is physically disabled. He is, in a sense, almost like a Jesus type character. He's just a wonderful guy. Oren is Hal's older brother. And here we have Don Gately, our 27-year-old criminal, who is a wonderful, kind person who goes through incredible pain, literal pain. The book is about addiction. The book is about what it means to be human. The book is about the self-actualization, and yeah. So I'm going to play a little soundbite of the author David Foster Wallace appearing on a show called Bookworm, and this is a wonderful 2-minute excerpt where he talks with the host Michael Silverblatt, who is known for reading really closely. I mean, we all know book shows where nobody reads. The Second Life Book Club. I mean, the host, where the host doesn't prepare and read. Michael Silverblatt reads and prepares. Let's see here. I think I have a slide. There he is. This is David Foster Wallace on the left and Michael Silverblatt on the right in 1996. And this famous clip where Michael talks about what he feels the book is about, and then David says to Michael, I wish you could adopt me right now." And so here's David Foster Wallace replying to the question what it was like to write this book. Here we go.
But it's real weird. I mean, I think writing is a big blend of, there's a lot of sophistication and there's a lot of kind of idiocy about it. And so much of it is gut. And this feels true, this doesn't feel true, this tastes right, this doesn't. And it's only when you get about halfway through that I think you start to see any sort of structure emerging at all. And of course, the great nightmare is that you alone see the structure and it's going to be a mess for everyone else.
Well, what thrilled me about the book is that around 200 pages in, what I felt about it was that it just began to get better and better and better. I started to like it more and more and look forward to going back to reading it, and felt a kind of, tenderness toward it, toward both its character and its narrator. Because of the extraordinary effort that was going into writing it. It didn't seem like difficulty for difficulty's sake. It seemed like immense difficulty being expended because something important about how difficult it has become to be human needed to be said, and that there weren't other ways to say that.
I feel like I want to ask you to adopt me. Because, yeah, I mean, this is the great nightmare when you're doing something long and hard is you're terrified that it will be perceived as gratuitously hard and difficult. When I was in my 20s, like what I really believed was that the point of fiction was to show that the writer was really smart. And it sounds terrible to say, but I think, looking back, that's what was going on. And I don't think I really understood what loneliness was when I was a young man. And now I've got a much less clear idea of what the point of art is, but I think it's got something to do with loneliness and something to do with setting up a conversation between human beings. And I know that when I started this book, I had very vague and not very ambitious ambitions. And one was I wanted to do something really sad. I'd done comedy before. I wanted to do something really sad, and I wanted to do something about what was sad about America. And
yeah, I wanted to cut there before actually because it's interesting that he said he wanted to do something that is sad and is sad about America, because the book is now translated in Farsi by Iranian translator Moin Farouki, sorry, and it's translated into Serbian by Igor. Oh my God, I'm not gonna pronounce his last name. So this theme resonates all over the world, and this was David Foster Wallace on Michael Silverblatt's program talking about the loneliness factor. As I was listening to this, it occurred to me again because Michael Silverblatt uses the term tenderness. I use the word kind and empathy. Those are really the terms how I would describe how the book makes me feel, despite this tough subject matter of, like I say, addiction, abuse, really terrible stuff happening, disturbing stuff even happening. It's unsafe in that sense, the book, because it is going so close to pain. And yeah, I think I'm gonna just throw it to Dex and ask Dex specifically what he likes about the book and why he's still reading it. And before I ask that, here is on the side, I put the camera on fan art, little painting that says "Visit Tucson," and here you can see the two secret agents, Marat, the wheelchair assassin, and to the left is Steepley, who is from United States Special Services, a secret agent, and they're both trying to track down this lethal entertainment, this weapon that has been deployed to assassinate people. Yeah. Dex, Euromat, do you want to tell folks why or what do you like about the book so far? Maybe tell us where you are, page-wise, or what's happening right now, and why have you not? What do you like about it, if you do?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me turn you up a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm reading this Infinite Jest in my language, which is Polish, and I'm about I don't know, maybe 40% in, but yeah, I'm looking at in this book and see that many things that brings similarity to both America and Europe, and things that happens, and also finding that many things that Wallace wrote in this book, it's actually sometimes some predictions that will happen and
Yeah.
is happening
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, that's one aspect where we should say the book came out in 1996, and it is set slightly in the future, but basically in our past. And what he wrote about is a lot of the stuff is very much, I think, came true, especially the kind of dealing with just ubiquitous entertainment, pretty much. I didn't want to cut you off, but I want to jump in here and want to ask you, because what would you say to someone, Dex, are you crazy reading this big book? I mean, this is also what he wrote about. I mean, he wrote about the fact that people don't really read. And like, how can you read that big a book? That is too complicated, Dex. How can you do that?
You can if you know how to if you do some repeating things, so you can so what I mean is you can read it, then give it a bit break, then again read it, and continue with what mindset you have.
Hmm. Now you're talking
And
about technique, where I agree, and my question
yeah,
was not greatly worded, Dex. I apologize, and I want to talk about technique, and I'll let you speak. But first of all, actually, I wanted to ask, how can you waste your time reading a book? What does it give you? I'm basically asking a question. I don't know, that somebody would say like, we have so
I will
much stuff.
answer
We have Netflix, we have TikTok. Why do you waste your time with a book like this?
I will answer this like this. By reading a book, you are installing new software to your mind.
Oh my God, that is good.
And also reading a book widens your inside dictionary of words you can have, because as how in Cadenza said, he is going through he is devouring the libraries.
Oh, that's right. He actually read. That's right. He reads the. Doesn't he read the dictionary? Actually.
Yep.
Okay, Dex. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. One more question. Oh my God, Dex. That's so lame. That's like going to school. I want to have some fun, Dex. I don't want to go to school, and I want to like. That sounds like the lamest book ever. Learning, learning, learning.
Oh no, it's not. The plot is it's very complicated. True, but it's also, as you said, completely connected with each other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, with everything, with life, with everything inside, and it's also funny. And I would actually also say that maybe it is good for you. Oh, God. Oh, see, this is where I probably turn people off when I go like, okay, maybe you should read something that is good for you, like you should eat your broccoli. Um, but the book is not like, like a kid. I don't want to eat my broccoli, Mom. I want to eat some hamburgers. The book is throwing hamburgers at you as much as you want, but then it sneaks in a little broccoli. And then when you go like, oh no, he just sold me some broccoli, then it's going to feed you again something gummy bears. So I don't know. This is a weird description. It's almost like the book itself is the entertainment, is the device, is the bomb, the terror device. I don't know. Dex?
Well, it can be either thing you just mentioned. It depends on how you want to go with it.
Yeah. What I found interesting the first time I read it, and I've talked with people on Reddit. I actually quit Reddit now because it's really a cesspool. But I joined Reddit just to talk to other Infinite Jest people, and there was somebody who posted like something to the effect of, "Oh my God, this is so funny, and then this is so great, and there's so amazing flow, and then all of a sudden he goes somewhere completely different, and it's tedious and it's painful, and you have to slog through it, and oh my God, why is he doing that?" And then just at the second where you kind of want to give up, he throws in the next thing that is hilarious, and then he builds this momentum, and then you can't stop. And I find that, and now that I know more about it, and I'm not an academic or a literary scholar or anything, but I did read some interesting PhD theses and stuff like that, and people point out that that's exactly what he was trying to do, Wallace, is to go for that kind of structure, like to string you along, right? And almost the book mirrors in that sense what an addictive substance does. So yeah.
Yep, that's correct, and he's very good at it.
Yeah. God, I wish so much that I would speak Polish. The Polish
And
edition.
and
Yeah.
you are lucky. You only have 900 pages.
See, this is what I'm saying. To me, this book is the metaverse. I don't want to leave it, right? I don't want to. Again, this is what I talked with Shyla about. I want to bring Shyla in as well now because um, we are conditioned, and I understand. I mean, we are schooled through schooling, through life. We are conditioned to think in outcome oriented ways. I'm obviously not different from that. I think in outcome, oh, where's my deadline, and I want to complete this, I want to put it out. And I think that is the big dilemma of being a human being, because we should, and again, this is Buddhist philosophy, whatever, a million different similar approaches. We got to be more in the moment, and we have to enjoy the present moment of engaging with text or music or whatever. And this book also challenges us, I think, to not think in terms of, oh, I just completed 20 pages. That's what I hate about ebook readers. I mean, you can turn it off, but the ebook reader constantly, it's a gamification type thing. It's like, oh, you're 20% through, keep on going. And that's not the point here. You want to enjoy this world that Wallace constructed with these crazy, crazy characters, with Madame Psychosis. Here is fan art of Mario Incandenza, aka Boo Boo, who has the camera strapped to his head. He's a big fan of making movies. This here is Ann Kittenplan, who gets hit with the tennis ball and at the eschaton game. Here is Hal in his admission conversation at the University of Arizona, where he completely loses it and can't speak anymore. I mean, craziness and madness. What else do we have? Oh, here we have P Goat, the prettiest girl of all time, Joelle Van Dyne. Who is Joelle Van Dyne? Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, my point is that the book, in a sense, also challenges our way of consuming novels, I think, in that sense. But anyway, Shyla, why are you still reading it? Why have you not thrown it against the wall? I know because you can't. You have the
Pressure.
electronic version.
Pressure from you, Drax. No. Um, uh, yeah, it's starting to come together. I'm a bit past page 200, and I'm a really slow reader, so I'm probably behind everyone who's giving this an effort. And what you said about this whole, having goals and stuff, for me, it just feels like my goals aren't reasonable, like they're too low in this stare and compare world,
Hmm.
and so it's hard for me to keep going mentally, right? But there are some funny, funny things that I really relate to. People might think they're a bit disparaging out of context,
Hmm.
but um, to me, especially, the alcohol and even the drugs when I was younger. Um, I've been through that, and he captures it so well.
Hmm.
The reality of it. I don't have the extremeness of
You mean
some
the
of what he
reality of an
does.
addict, sort of the denial, and then the kind of just being obsessed with the next fix or whatever, the lying, the conniving, all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I mean, I because I'm going to read something. So I thought about reading the Visine section, which is also about drugs and getting away and that conniving. But I identify with these sections because uh, things are a bit more extreme. Not the Visine, though. Um, but
I
as
actually,
a one time heavy drinker, I relate to this rationalization and justification. That's what it is to me. It was a big issue of mine. So I even got a license plate at one point that read no R&J, meaning no rationalization and justification, to remind me,
hmm of
you
drinking.
know,
Hmm.
not of drinking, but of how to live one's life.
Hmm. Oh.
And yeah, no rationalization and justification for poor behavior. It's just my poor behavior, and look at changing it if it's, if it's not cool, right? If it's
Hmm.
not kind, if it's not, if it's excuse oriented.
Hmm.
An excuse sometimes isn't necessary. Like, I feel the need to excuse myself to you because I'm only 200 pages in, but in reality, there's no excuse needed.
Hmm.
It's just kind of a habit of mine from this time period.
I'm looking through the chat here because I haven't looked at it. I'm sorry, Marva. You first of all, also thank you, Dex, for your insightful commentary, and then I'll bring you back in because I want to know where you if you read the Eschaton game Fiasco yet, which is so awesome. like a nuclear global nuclear war with tennis balls. Marvalue says the human condition. Yes, that's what it's about. Um, and then Water and Sigh say a lot here about the similarities with Ulysses. I think that's correct. Um, what I heard, I still haven't read Ulysses, that to my shame. And Sai said she's reading it on an e-reader with a built-in dictionary. Yeah, I've heard that before. A lot of people looks meaning of words, and Wallace was a wordsmith. Just amazing. Um, and different styles, characters. Oh, this is still about the resistor says. What did the resistor say? I just scrolled by it. Three topics that he doesn't like or something. Three plot points in an introduction that I don't want. No wonder many love solitude. I'm not sure what that means. Um, but yeah, uh, I think that's actually one of the big points of Wallace is that solitude and reflection is really important. And in a world that is loud and with a constant onslaught of entertainment, really the world that he kind of predicted when he wrote the book, the world that we live in now is precisely the world he predicted. He predicted the negative outcomes. I think his prescription certainly is to have better balance. Um, where was I? Uh, did I miss something? Please post it again here in the local chat. Sai says it actually makes me lose track of where I am as the page numbering is different. Okay, so this is reading technique. This is also very important, I think, reading technique in general. I mean, I think you need to read alone, you need to read in a quiet room, and you have to have all electronic devices gone if that's possible. So, Sai, I thought that you're not reading it anymore because I haven't heard from you in our super secret group. If you want access to that super secret group, just send me a message. Dex, where are you at? Do you remember what is happening right now, plot wise?
Plot-wise, currently, I'm after Stipley and Martha talking about the soup.
Ah, Steeply and Marat again. Marat is the a high official in the secret wheelchair assassins group, and Steeply dressed as a woman. This his disguise as a woman, but everybody knows he's not a woman. Is a secret agent, and they are on this plateau in the mountains. Where actually Shyla pointed out that she found it really funny because she doesn't know that how Marat with his wheelchair got up to this ledge in the mountain. Um, but Shyla doesn't think it's ableist. So Dex, you like the conversations between Steeply and Marat?
They are very philosophical.
Yeah, very philosophical. I mean, it's just incredible. It's about free will and about everything else. And then Steeply talks how his father got addicted to MASH, actually, but that's maybe later. I don't want to spoil it. Dex, the Polish, do you feel because you also speak English, does it flow well to you? Would you say, I know you haven't read it in English, but since you are an English speaker, I wonder if you can make an assessment if the translation is good.
Translation is very good.
Yeah. This translator is very, very famous. I saw a little video of hers. An older lady. Now the name escapes me, but she's quite famous, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
And I've read the eschatonic ending,
oh yeah.
and it was very interesting to see. The flight of the body.
How can you describe the Eschaton game? The Eschaton game is basically like a real life role playing game that the tennis academy kids play. It's kind of a tradition, and they spread out on the tennis court, and they all play different powers, like world powers and small, yeah, live action role playing, exactly. And it's basically like a nuclear situation, a standoff that then it's World War III in a sense that the kids play. And then something happens which is not part of the protocol, and then chaos breaks out, and that then leads to the academy, the tennis academy, to kind of crack down on the kids.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Interesting sometimes when you read it. And this is maybe a small portion of it, if I may read.
You want to read it
Yeah, from the book.
in Polish?
Yes.
Okay, Dex, do it. But also Shyla also wants to read. Not too long, Dex, but I love the way you read it. Okay, let's read it and let's actually see if YouTube translates this. Give us a feel of the sound. No, this is awesome, Dex. Let me just say, because also, I don't want to belabor the point here, but we do live in a world where not a lot of people read. And when they say they read, and again, I don't want to judge this, very often people will cite sort of entertainment, certainly not literature that is demanding. And again, this Infinite Jest is demanding, but the payoff that you get as a person, frankly, also in terms, like I say, in terms of entertainment value, is a lot higher than what you get from from those so-called airport novels, I would say. But you have to put the work in, right?
Yeah.
You put it in and you
Right.
get it out. And
Yes.
and the language, and that's why I'm introducing Dex, and I'm glad that he wants to read, because the language, just also the flow of the language, as sort of almost musical, is just so enjoyable. And that's also something I think we lose when we just consume, very sort of short, dopamine hitting audiovisual entertainment. So anyway, Dex, what are you reading?
I will read start of the Eschaton.
Okay, again, Eschaton, the kids are there. The older kids, they are kind of the referees. They're all standing on the field. They represent different world powers, superpowers, smaller nation states. There are tennis balls. There are T-shirts that also signify different countries, geographic boundaries, and such. And action
Yes.
Dex.
8 listopada roku pieluchomajtek Depend dla dorosłych, Dzień Współzależności, Gaudeamus Igitur. Co roku w EAT kilkanaścioro młodych ludzi w wieku plus minus 12-15, dzieciaków w najwcześniejszych stadiach dojrzewania i prawdziwie abstrakcyjnego myślenia, kiedy osobnicza alergia na krępujące realia teraźniejszości dopiero zaczyna się rodzić, jako przedziwna tęsknota za rzeczami, których istnienie nawet się nie podejrzewało, kilkanaścioro tych młodych, przeważnie płci męskiej, ulega fanatycznej fascynacji domorosłą grą o nazwie Eschaton. Eschaton jest najbardziej skomplikowaną grą dziecięcą, o jakiej słyszał ktokolwiek związany z EAT. Nikt nie jest tak do końca pewien, kto przywlókł ją do Enfield, ani skąd. Można za to dość łatwo ustalić jej początki na podstawie mechaniki samej gry. Podstawowa struktura gry w Eschatona była już dość mocno utrwalona gdy Michael Pemois z Alston wszedł w 13 rok życia i przyczynił się do jej znacznego uatrakcyjnienia. O młodzieńczym magnetyzmie Eschatona przesądza jego elegancka złożoność w połączeniu z dreszczykiem rekonstrukcji historycznej i kompletnym oderwaniem od realiów dnia codziennego. Jest to na dodatek gra niemal nałogowo wciągająca, co szokuje dorosłych. And that is the first paragraph. Thank you.
That is so awesome. Do you say plus minus? And Michael Pemulis, who is of course one of the tennis kids, who is also a drug dealer. I also wanted to say hello, Valentina. I forgot. Good to see Valentina here. Kind of a new face. I don't recall if Valentina was here. And Valentina, let us know if you now what you hear, if you contemplate maybe trying the book. And then Water said a whole bunch of stuff. And Water, I don't know if you're still reading it, but Water wrote Infinite Fish. So that's great. Polish ebook, 503 pages. Dex, do you then go to the footnotes?
I don't have that yet. The ebook has over 1,680 pages.
Damn. But I'm wondering, because some people go to the footnotes when they are announced in the text, and some people wait until they're done. I'm not sure what's better. Here, by the way,
I'm the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to understand in the context, and then when I'm done, I'm go to the footnotes.
That makes sense. I would also advise this because, again, as your drug dealer, I will tell you that you want to read it again. And then when you read it with the footnotes, or you read the footnotes in between before your second read, your mind will be completely blown. It's almost like a really complex criminal case in a sense. On top of all these sort of human condition and big philosophical themes, there is a very but there is a incredibly well constructed plot that I told Shyla, don't obsess over trying to understand it the first time, because that's also the obstacle. I think Sigh said earlier, just read, be in the moment. Don't force yourself to understand everything. Just enjoy that ride. Don't put yourself under this pressure. It is so yummy when you start to beginning to understand it. Maybe towards the end, maybe towards the middle, maybe the second time round. It is something that will give you pleasure time and again. I mean, it's almost, again, like the fictional entertainment, the bomb, the terror device, which is here a VHS tape on the Serbian translation. Shyla, you wanted to read something.
Yeah. I've got this section. Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you what this car is not an accurate car of the car, but it does mean something in the context of the book, right?
Yes. And it's cool.
It's Bit Lip Red. It's the car of James O. Incandenza's father, who was a actor and also a want-to-be tennis star, but who was a failure, according to his dad. Anyway, we're getting into the weeds. One more thing here. If you go to SL and you want to read this book and you don't want a spoiler, don't read this, what I'm panning over here right now. This is the ending explained. This is from Aaron Schwartz's blog. Aaron Schwartz should be a household name. If not, Google him. Tragic story, an incredible young mind. Created RSS and other things, but Aaron Schwartz was also a big Infinite Jest fan. So, Shyla, what are you reading for us?
I'm going to read selected transcripts from the section selected transcripts of the resident interface drop-in hours of Ms. Patricia Montesian, MA, CSAC, Executive Director, Ennet House Drug and Alcohol Recovery House, SICK, Enfield, Massachusetts, 1300 to 1500 hours, Wednesday, 4 November, year of the Depend Adult Undergarment.
Okay, one more context. That is awesome because this will give you a feel of how funny this is. Now, Shyla's going to read from the drop-in hours. What does that mean? Now, this is the halfway house. This is where people go and they can drop in there, right? In these drop-in hours, and they talk with whom? They have like an intake. What is it called? Like, do they just come in and do they want to talk, or do they actually want to get like a room there?
No, this is when they talk about things that happened. Maybe things. To me, it's kind of like a check-in.
That's
with
what
the
that's what
house.
I thought. They check in, so if they want to stay at the house or become part of the or go to a group meeting or they're looking for a room, they get interviewed by Pat Montesian, who is the director of Ended House, Halfway House. They get interviewed and they get sort of, assessed if they're too crazy or too strung out.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens.
All right. So I'm going to read two perspectives on the same incident. So here's the first one.
Okay. So these are two people accusing each other of something. Okay, I'll shut up.
Yes.
Go.
Okay. But there's this way he drums his fingers on the table. Not even like really drumming, more like in way between drumming and like this scratching, picking, the way you see somebody picking at dead skin. And without any kind of rhythm, see? Constant and never stopping, but with no kind of rhythm you could grab onto and follow and stand. Totally like whacked, insane. Like the kind of sounds you can imagine a girl hears in her head right before she kills her whole family because somebody took the last bit of peanut butter or something. You know what I'm saying? The sound of a fucking mind coming apart. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yes, okay. The short answer is when he wouldn't quit the drumming at supper, I sort of poked him with my fork. Sort of. I could see how maybe somebody could have thought I sort of stabbed him. I offered to get the fork out, though. Let me just say, I'm ready to make amends at like any time, or my part in it. I'm owning my part in it, is what I'm saying. Can I ask, am I going to get restricted for this? Because I have overnight tomorrow that Gene, he approved in the overnight law. If you want to look. But I'm not trying to get out of owning my part of the, like, occurrence. All right, so let's go. I have to go.
So let me just say, this was my mistake. So this is a dispute that happens, and they talk to Pat Montesian, the director, about this, and you're going to read the second perspective. But basically, that at that drop-in hour, these are already residents that live at the house, and they had this incident happen. And so they report to her, or maybe she summoned them. We don't know. But now comes the other perspective, right?
Yes, this is the guy who got forked. So I'm sitting there waiting for my meatloaf to cool, and suddenly there's simply sphincter loosening shriek, and he is now in the air with a skateboard positively aloft, leaping across the table, in flight, horizontal. I mean, Pat, the girl's body is literally parallel to the surface of the table. hurling herself at me with this upraised fork, shrieking something about the sound of peanut butter. I mean, my God, Gately and Deal had to pull the fork out of my hand and the tabletop both. To give you an idea of the savagery, don't even ask me about the pain. Let's not even get into that, I assure you. They offered me Percocet at the emergency room, is all I'll say about the levels of pain involved. I told them I was in recovery and powerless over narcotics of any sort. Please don't even ask me how moved they were at my courage if you don't want me to get weepy.
So awesome. Thank you, Shyla. And Sai said, was this part of a big footnote? No, no. This is not a footnote. Um, uh, this was not a part of footnote. There's also there's a separate section, right, Shyla? I don't know if it's the same section, but where there's really just like a kind of a random snapshot of a lot of different people from that same drop-in hour, or is that from that section? Because that is just so crazy. There's like really little one paragraph things and longer ones, just what sort of people talk. Who, one guy is on coke, he just wants to talk and ramble. Another guy actually makes a decent point, and Wallace just sort of puts this all together in for like 10 pages or so. With this, is that part of that section? I think.
There's some of that. I mean, you really get to know these characters in
Yeah.
this section that are at the recovery house. And then there's there's so many good sections. There's the Visine, there's all the truths that you learn at a meeting. I mean, he does a good job of kind of capturing this. And I'll say this, though, I don't read this in mockery because
That's the thing. That
you know
is,
it's
yeah, I'm glad you point that out. Yeah, because we can look at that, and in the hands of a different writer, this could very much be like, oh, look at these fools, look at these addicts, how stupid are they, these losers. But the wonderful thing about this book is that he cares about the writer. It's so clear how he cares about every single person here. And that, I think, is the big takeaway, is that everybody matters. The smallest little person, again, I mean, it's nobody is a sidekick or a figurant in that sense. That's a term that I think J.O. Incandenza used. J.O. Incandenza, I also want to say, he was a huge filmmaker. This is all fan art here in the back. Blood Sister, One Tough Nun. It's one of his famous movies. Baby pictures of famous dictators. And my favorite movie, Various Small Flames. This is all in the footnotes, by the way. Here also, The Medusa versus the Odalisque, a film by James O. Incandenza. Again, James O. Incandenza is the father. He's dead by when the book happens. I mean, in the main time the book happens, James O. Incandenza is dead. He's the founder of the Tennis Academy, and he's a avant-garde filmmaker and an inventor. And in one of the big footnotes, Tsai, I think it's the first one, pages and pages of his fictional filmography, and that alone, the filmography, Tsai, is worth the price of admission. So anyway, Shyla, you want to elaborate on this, or Dex, or who else wants to chime in?
I was going to say that I thought I was 200 pages in, but it looks like the ebook pages are half a page. So I'm not quite 200 pages in, but despite that, things are starting to get interesting. Like, I don't know where I'm going yet, but there's starting to be relationships to me. You know, when I started, I'm like,
Yeah.
character, another character, another character, another character. Who are these people in relation to each other? And now that's coming together. And I'm probably a little over 100 pages in. And I wanted to say to Sigh, too, that I look up a lot of words.
Yeah.
he uses words that are so specifically descriptive, and it's really nice. Like when I look up the word, I'm like, oh, that's a good word
Yeah.
for that.
Yep. Totally. And again, it's like he said. I mean, I don't know. We're going too theoretical here, and I actually made a note that I don't want to do that. But I do have to say it's not complex for complexity's sake. It's not a show off. And what frustrates
Right.
me a little bit is that there are some circles where this is still sort of seen as, oh yeah, this show off book that people have in their shelves to pretend that they read something, or so that kind of is kind of a cliche stereotype, and sometimes people dismiss. There's an awful clip on a Bret Easton Ellis podcast, also a famous American writer, wrote American Psycho, where they were Bret Easton Ellis, and they had a beef. I didn't even know this. Bret Easton Ellis and David Foster Wallace had a big beef, and then Bret Easton Ellis makes fun, like, what a loser, he killed himself, what a loser. It's just really low. And the book is the opposite. The book is um, again full of kindness. Sigh's stuff disappears. I have to see what she's saying. We'll keep it tight today. Dex, do you have anything to add? You want to add something to any points?
No, I'm still reading, so
That's good.
will be something more afterwards.
We'll do this again. And people here in the audience, are you enticed, or are you gonna go like, nah, I'm gonna watch Three Body Problem on Netflix? Please don't do that, please. Or I'm gonna jump out the window. No, I'm not. Um, the manager is posting here a link to an interview of the author David Foster Wallace with Michael Silverblatt, where I played this little excerpt, and this is a wonderful conversation that everybody should listen to. This is specifically about Infinite Jest when it first came out, 1996, and they talk a little bit about that.
Oh,
So yeah,
I was going to say one more thing about it, which is it's full of these tidbits of truth that kind of pop out at you in the most unexpected places. And so I've saved a lot of quotes
yeah,
from the book. I love that. I'm like reading, and then I'm like, let me catch this again. Like, what just happened there? And I look at it again. So
yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Want to hear one?
yeah. Please.
Okay. All right. I'll do this one. This is early on in the book. Well, it's not too early. The true opponent, the enfolding boundary, is the player himself. Always and only the self out there on court to be met, fought, brought to the table to hammer out terms. The competing boy on the net's other side, he is not the foe. He is more the partner in the dance. He is the what is the word, excuse, or occasion for meeting the self as you are his occasion.
Yeah. The opponent is the meeting of the self. He describes a tennis match. Um, and the whole tennis, this is another one. Thank you, Shal. This is another one of those things. I'm so not interested in tennis. I don't play tennis. I'm not interested in sports in general. But the crazy thing is, two of my favorite books are about, ostensibly, they're not about sports, but they take sports as a metaphor, which is Don DeLillo's Underworld. Don DeLillo was in contact with David Foster Wallace and David Foster Wallace, Infinite Jest, and tennis. And the way he describes tennis as this battle with the self, or it's just absolutely incredible. And of course, there's Gerhard Stitt, the German tennis coach. I should play him in the movie. You're not battling against the other one, you're battling against yourself. Bureau of Not Precise Services. Yes. Oh, is that the translation in Polish? Not precise See, this is even better because in English it's non-specified services. I like that. See? Bureau of Not Precise Service. See, this is an interpretation where the translator is an artist here. Marva Yu says the first video game. Yeah, what was it called? Pong. Was it called Pong? With just the two? Yeah. Not specified, but not precise. I like that even better. Yeah, that's the secret agency. So I'm gonna play a little soundbite of my dragon's avatar about the urine bottles. You want to set us up, Charlotte? Do you know what this was about?
Oh yeah, this is about. I did sports.
So these
and they
kids
weren't
take
doing
drugs.
this, but
Yeah.
they gotta take. Yeah, they gotta do a urine test, and this is about how they pass it.
So the kids, the tennis kids, they take a lot of drugs. They smoke a lot of weed, and when they get tested in front of a big tournament, they have to go to these urine tests. And Michael Pemulis, or Pemulis, who is a very entrepreneurial guy, he sells clean urine. Okay, he sells clean urine in Visine bottles, and these Visine bottles, they get also reused. So he's very conscious, environmentally conscious. Pemulis, recycled. Correct. And actually, much later in the book, there is a kid, Arsalina. Oh my God, Arsanlian. He is Armenian, and we know that he may be Muslim, and he is told that he should practice playing tennis blind because then he gets better. And then he puts a bandana over his eyes and he can't see. And he's asking Pemulis where the bathroom is. And Pemulis immediately says, so in your country, do they drink alcohol? You know, these Islam people? he's immediately like, I'll show you the bathroom, but first, can you tell me you guys drink? And he immediately goes like, hey, this guy is my urine guy from now on, this new kid. So anyway, this quote here is an interesting one, but let's play the clip. Let's play the clip. Where is it? Here it is.
Selling little Visine bottles of urine out of an antique vendor's tub for ballpark wieners. Snagged for a song from a Fenway Park wiener man fallen on hard off-season times. A big old box of dull, dimpled tin with a strap in socks collars that goes around the back of the neck and keeps the vendor's hands free to make change. Urine. Clinically sterile urine. Piping hot. Urine you'd be proud to take home and introduce to the folks. Trevor Exford handles cash flow. Pemulis dispenses little conical tipped Visine bottles of juvenile urine. Bottles easily rendered discreet in underarm, sock, or panty. You're in trouble. You're in luck. Quarterly sales breakdowns indicate slightly more male customers than female customers for urine.
And that was the Blue Dragon Draxtor reading, little excerpt. And Dex said earlier that they do this 4 times per year. Yeah, that's right, X handle. He does it with Pemulis. They have this business going, and they're making good money. Okay, folks, this was the first What Are You Reading? here on the Second Life Book Club. Marva Yu, Tsai Cheng, Dex, Water, Valentina, the Resistor, Shyla. Thank you for coming. I'm going to read what's on the big display here, and I forgot where I pulled it. This is a no-no. You pull a quote as a screenshot, and I didn't annotate it. Very bad, Draxtor. So I don't know where I got this from, and I don't know who wrote it, but I think it's apt. So this was the 20th anniversary of Infinite Jest 2016. I'm sorry. And this writer here wrote an essay. He wrote, at a recent scientific conference, I got the chance to wear a virtual reality headset for the first time. As Wallace could discern so clearly the seductively soft hand of entertainment. This is well written. The seductively soft hand of entertainment has our civilization by the throat. And when I put those goggles on and marveled at what I saw, I felt a tightening. The solution offered by Infinite Jest to entertainment addiction is hard work and monastic concentration on some abstract entity, what Wallace referred to as worship. Worship being exactly what a book as dense as Infinite Jest requires to read. The book itself tries to be a cure for what it diagnoses. There you go. Yeah, couldn't agree more. And again, the book is not like you're taking medicine and it's painful. It is painful sometimes. Sometimes it's painful, but then you get rewarded again, and so it goes back and forth. And like I said in the beginning, it's like this guy wrote. It mirrors the predicament, but it also offers the solution. I'm thrilled a few people showed up, and we're going to continue this. Please consult the calendar. And Madame Psychosis, then misdiagnosis. Yeah. Yeah, what can I say? Marva Yu says, this is why I searched out SL. I was at a David Lynch event, Festival's Disruption, I think 2016 LA, and he had the goggles on going into Mr. Robot. Yeah, David Lynch, incidentally, there is a whole fan casting if David Lynch would make the Infinite Jest movie. I'm going to quit here. Thank you guys who watched the stream. If there's any last comments on the stream or in world, do it now. And Marva Yu, if we go into David Lynch and goggles, then we're on a different subject, and it's a fascinating subject. But we're here to talk about this book, and we're gonna wrap it. We're gonna stay on topic, not like this David Foster Wallace guy. Thank you. Pick up the book, and if you want a short version, pick up Infinite Fish by Water. Bye bye, everybody.
We're all thrown into it, one way or the other. We all try to steer it as straight as we can. Sometimes we collide with each other. Who is to blame, and who's gonna fix the boat? Life, oh life, there's nothing to fear from you. Life, let me know if I can be of any help. Life, you and I, let's try a fresh start today. What do you say? Let's close the door on the past. So we swim, and it is in so many ways just a little trick to keep our heads above water. But now I'm not afraid anymore. Life